Good morning and welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. I'm so glad you joined us this morning. We had quite a few comments from over the weekend. First off, a civil war going on in England. It could start in New York City if Governor Hochul does nothing about the illegal immigration problem. We may get to that issue in England a little bit later on. Another comment from a different viewer. It sickens me to see how they are setting up another president to lead from the basement and others cannot get it. You have 15 days now without a press conference. She has turned down the opportunity, this is Kamala Harris, turned down the opportunity to face Trump in a debate on Fox News on September 4th. We're going to talk about that in a little bit as well. I received quite a few messages, and I'm opening this up to viewers, from different viewers, by the way, about issues with registration, voter registration. One gentleman explaining his story, and I will say it is not just you. I received two over the weekend where they have not received, these viewers have not received their registration card. One in Chemung County, not sure where the other takes place, but the person had just moved into New York from Pennsylvania. Well, that's the opposite of how things normally go, but welcome to New York. Also, thank you for the kind words. I'll read the kind words at the end. You have a great show. I enjoy watching it, and it is the fastest 2 hours on TV. Take care. Well, you take care as well. Good luck with your registration, your voter ID. Let me know how that goes. And if anybody else has issues registering to vote for this upcoming election, please let me know. We are going to do a special here on the air about, getting registered, about how to vote, some of the rules, some of the things you need to know. That's going to be coming up a little bit later on. I'll keep you updated. We've just started talking about the process, but on that show, we'll undoubtedly be talking to the election board and finding out exactly what you need to know to get registered. So I received that from numerous people, not receiving the registration form, which of course does raise serious concerns, and some of the people that commented really going towards that. I don't like to use this word, but I can't think of a different word. Conspiratorial, or wondering why the registration has not been sent back. I don't have an answer for you, but I will say, rest assured, you are not the only one. This seems to be a common comment that I received from viewers. Another comment: Iran, China, Russia see us weak. And now, in the next 3 months, it is the time to take advantage of the war on Israel and the United States, and we will not give Israel weapons. So Iran and the Middle East are in charge to get Israel before November, as we are so weak in any Israeli support. And Iran is very powerful in weapons and getting stronger, yes, stronger by the day. I worry about war. We as a country are not ready with a war overnight under Biden, and Harris is not a leader in war. Harris said Israel has the right to defend itself, but Israel must not respond to save Iran people and let Israel people be fired on every day, as the problem is Israel. It's unreal, Harris. It is sad. Remember, she said she was the last one in the room on any Afghanistan pullout and was not aware what was going on and had no understanding to be included. Now Israel waits for war. Yes, Iran could attack Israel as early as today. According to officials, the Iranian attack on Israel in response to the assassination of Hamas's political bureau leader, Ismail Haniyeh, in Iran last week is expected to come as early as today. As a matter of fact, Biden is meeting with the national security team as of right now, ahead of the anticipated Iranian attack against Israel. President Biden will meet with his national security team in the Situation Room today, ahead of the anticipated Iranian attack against Israel. The meeting came a day after Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin spoke with his counterpart in Israel to reiterate U.S. support for the Jewish state as tensions escalate, with Iran and its proxies threatening a wider regional war after 10 months of fighting Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip. Austin and Israeli Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant discussed U.S. force posture moves that the Defense Department is taking to bolster protection for U.S. forces in the region, support the defense of Israel, and deter and de-escalate border tensions in the region. So we'll keep you updated. That is a breaking story. You could see an attack as early as today on Israel. If you hear anything, I always say this, I try to check news outlets throughout the whole program, but if you see something breaking news, please feel free to send it to that number on the bottom of your screen. I forgot to mention this last week, and it's a local story, and it's starting to make the rounds, at least statewide, coming from the New York Post, but the disgraced Addison employee, Ursula Stone, who allegedly stole $1,171,362 in village funds over at least 19 years in Addison. She is now the first politician to be forced to fork over her pension under New York's anti-corruption law. Quote, this case, represents the most complete and, to be frank, shocking breach of public trust I've encountered in 30 years as a Steuben County prosecutor, said, friend of Frankly Speaking, Brooks Baker. The reality is that, but for some real heads-up detective work by members of the state comptroller staff, it would still be ongoing. Stone appeared in Steuben County Court Thursday and agreed to forfeit her pension of $1,920 a month. That's according to the Democrat Chronicle out of Rochester. So that's just a couple of quick updates to begin on the show. Later on in the show, we're going to be talking to Amy from Casa Trinity. They have so much going on. It's their 50th anniversary. They have so many events going on that we're going to talk to Amy and kind of get caught up. Last week we talked to Ann from Casa Trinity. Just a quick update. Yes, it is 15 days. Kamala Harris has not held a press conference since emerging as a presumptive Democrat nominee. We are being told that she will make her pick for VP tomorrow, and that over the weekend there was quite a few meetings in regards to who she was going to pick. There's some cryptic tweets that Mark Kelly made, some thinking that perhaps he just announced accidentally that he was going to be the choice. Many are banking their money on Josh Shapiro out of Pennsylvania. What is your thoughts? Who do you think ultimately Kamala Harris will pick as her VP? She did receive on the first day after this program, it was on Friday. Yeah, she received enough delegate support to be the nominee. Now, keep in mind, never receiving a single vote from a Democrat to be president of the United States or be on the ticket to be president of the United States. But yet she is, nonetheless, the Democrat candidate for president of the United States. But 14 days, 15, if you count today, without holding a formal press conference since becoming the presumptive nominee. Harris announced that she had locked up the nomination late on July the 22nd, declaring that she had won commitments of backing from a majority of the nearly 4,000 delegates to next month's Democratic National Convention. She has since hit the campaign trail, spoken at various events, and even chatted with reporters here and there, but hasn't done a formal press conference or wide-ranging interview in the 13 days that have followed, now 14. She also failed to appear at the National Association of Black Journalists convention in Chicago, where former President Trump made headlines with a heated question and answer session. Yes, again, showing that Trump willing to go into hostile territory to make his point. I talked about it on Friday. It's very much the mindset of the late Andrew Breitbart, who was one of the Tea Party founders, if you will. He always said, you've got to go to unfriendly territory. He used to do Bill Maher's show because you can't just keep preaching to the choir, and that's exactly what Trump did, is went to a hostile area and had that back and forth with a very, very biased, quote-unquote, journalist. Harris said, this is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understanding the strength that rests and understanding the significance of diplomacy and strengthening alliances. This is an incredible day. Harris, who became the likely nominee without receiving a single primary vote when President Biden announced he would step aside last month, has been so elusive that the New York Times published excerpts from an interview she conducted last year to see where her answers, quote, land now. Much of the Democrat Party, including governors, senators, and House members, as well as party leaders, quickly coalesced behind Harris. But critics have started to take notice that Harris hasn't faced tough questions since. And this is to that viewer's point, that she is going to be running from the basement. She is going to use the same tactic that Biden used during the 2019 race, which is, if you do answer reporters' questions, make sure they're friendly reporters, give rallies, overall have everything scripted, everything on a teleprompter, taking no real chances. And that's why she doesn't want to do the debate on Fox News that Trump has offered her. National Review senior writer Noah Rothman asked his social media followers on Wednesday, when is Kamala Harris going to hold a press conference? The RNC research account noted on Wednesday that she has only done teleprompter speeches, and conservative pundit Ben Shapiro said Harris has not answered one difficult question in the last week and a half. But why would she? I think you may not like it, but I think this is going to be the campaign. Kamala should absolutely hold a press conference. One would expect that when she names her vice presidential pick, but we cannot expect her to break from Biden's serial avoidance of press conferences. Since the 2020 campaign, we have witnessed the bizarre spectacle of Donald Trump granting wide access to networks that suggests he's a fascist and hammer him all day, while Biden and Harris won't grant interviews to media outlets that gurgle all over themselves and their historic accomplishments. Either they think the press can never be fair enough, or they are projecting a complete lack of confidence in their effort to put complete sentences together. Yeah, I don't think, listen, it's what Harris is known for, those kind of word salads, the awkwardness of her interviews. Look at her original campaign back in 2019, 2020, when she didn't even make it to Iowa. But if you see some of the ways that she would answer during debate, it's very awkward. That's why she wants the rules to stay the same. And she said she would do the ABC debate, which look how ABC treated Trump at that conference. So she's saying she will do the ABC debate in the same rule format that Biden had originally offered up and that Trump had originally agreed to. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. Running a little late. I see some comments coming in. Keep them coming in. I raised the question this morning because we received comments from numerous viewers. Have you had trouble registering to vote? Have you received your card that confirms your registration? We have heard from at least 2 over the weekend that have not and have struggled with that. So I would love to hear if this is a wide-ranging issue, a bigger issue throughout our various counties. So let's take our first break. We are just getting warmed up and we're having a great time already. So stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselson's Hot Tub. Hesselson's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselson's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselson's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselson's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath and Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need. It's never been easier or more affordable than right now to get the bathroom of your dreams. We have the best monthly programs in the industry with payments as low as $99 per month or no payments, no interest for 18 months with approved credit. The hardest part of your new bathroom is gutting and building the tub and shower. If your bathing area is old, there could be damage behind the walls and possible mold and mildew, which can be a serious safety issue. At BCI, we don't cover a problem, we fix it. Call now to get a never clean glass treated door with a no-track system at half off for the first 50 callers. Factory trained, certified installers made in the USA and discounts for seniors and military. Call 800-704-1798. That's 800-704-1798.
Sheldon and Missy face off in
Why can't we watch DuckTales? Because we don't learn anything.
Book Smarts versus Street Smarts.
Is it working? Are you feeling motivated? Very.
It's the battle of twins.
Life is so confusing. I always hoped it would be easier for me when I grew up. It's gonna be all right. You were faking. Bazinga.
Young Sheldon.
Weeknights at 6:30 on Big Fox.
Welcome to Frankly Speaking, talking to the people that affect your life, that affect all of our day-to-day lives. This is something you're not going to get anywhere else. We've got a lot to offer. There'll be a lot of news, local, regional, national, really the things that affect you. And I'm think you'll be glad that you tuned in. So think of it as radio on TV.
Frankly speaking.
Live, 2 hours long, starting at 6 a.m. on WYDC TV Big Fox. This is history. And we are back with Frankly Speaking. So many great comments coming in. Keep those comments flowing. First up, our foreign policies currently are the same as domestic in democratic states. If you defend yourself, you are guilty. Just give in and do nothing. So terrorism and socialism become the dominant leaders of the world. Everything those administrations have done have enriched such governments. Thank you so much. Another comment from a different viewer. All the talk Democrats did about democracy and saving it, and both president and vice presidential candidates were each appointed by one person. That's a great point. And it's something the media won't report on. It's something the media decides to ignore. Because I guess at this point, after seeing what happened with Bernie and Hillary, I guess Democrats are accepting that the elites pick their candidates for them, that they don't really have a say in the process. They seem to be fine with it. As a matter of fact, there's some polls out that shows Harris is doing very well. There's no denying it. Now, a lot of this is a honeymoon stage. As I mentioned, she has not answered any tough questions. She has not given a speech that isn't completely scripted. But I think they can run out the clock. I mean, I know I said this Friday and some people got kind of upset with me, but all it takes is 3-4 months of doing exactly what she's doing now, with no real scrutiny from the media, no talks of her involvement in one of the biggest scandals in presidential history, which is keeping Joe Biden's mental health out of the spotlight. She was very much a huge part of that. Never mind about her far left policies throughout her career. Will it come to a time where she has to answer? I just don't know. I think they can run out the clock, and it's very, very frustrating. But the media is not going to call them on it. Yes, I had that she hadn't given a press conference in 15 days, but that was coming from Fox News. That's not coming from, the New York Times, ABC, NBC, showing their outrage. It's more conservative outlets. But as of right now, the big talk is who she's going to pick as her VP. Again, as is to that viewer's comment, just appointed by her. No real say. No real vote. The whirlwind vice presidential search entered its final hours yesterday after Harris had interviewed 3 final contenders. Those 3 contenders, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, and Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. An extraordinary campaign for and against the candidates broke out across the spectrum of the Democrat Party. Different stakeholders have made their own arguments about who would be the most electable against Trump and who would help Harris sustain the streak of positive news her campaign has been riding on for the past 2 weeks. And this is coming from CNN, and they admit it without saying it. The streak of positive news, that means the media being a part of this, making sure to prop her up, get her across the finish line, because as we learned, as the New York Times told us in no uncertain terms, that nothing is off limits in making sure that Trump loses. So this isn't a vote for Harris or some confidence vote for Harris. Quite the opposite. It's just like it wasn't a vote for Biden. It's just a vote against Trump. Since Biden ended his re-election bid last month and endorsed Harris, the vice president has locked up the support of the Democrat Party and improved her polling against Trump. And we know about all the money that is being raised, $310 million in July. So again, big money. That big money that we hear so much about, it's so bad for politics. Never has big money had more power in a presidential election than in this election, by helping to boot Biden off his re-election and also to help prop Harris up and show this quote-unquote momentum behind her campaign. Chris Christie, he was on ABC's this week over the weekend, and he had a lot to say. I'm not sure why people still look to him for any type of guidance, but I think she needs to pick someone who's more moderate than her. I think she needs to pick someone that's got more governing experience at the ground level. Maybe he's gunning for it. Chris Christie wouldn't surprise me. It should be Josh Shapiro. I don't think this is a hard choice, said Chris Christie. Now, Mark Kelly posted a tweet that many believed showed that he was going to be the pick. Arizona Senator Mark Kelly added confusion to the Veep stakes yesterday when he put up and then quickly deleted a social post where he said his focus was now on serving Arizonians. My background is a bit different than most politicians. I spent my life serving in the Navy and at NASA, where the mission always comes first. Now my mission is serving Arizonians. Oh, interesting. Kelly then posted another tweet that was more general and left less room for speculation. Quote, whether it was from my time in the Navy and at NASA, serving in the United States Senate, or visiting our troops overseas, I have learned that when your country asks you to serve, you always answer the call. So is he saying that he didn't have it? Or is he saying he does have it? Now, Mark Kelly, many people have speculated, and anonymous sources behind the scenes believe Mark Kelly is actually who former President Obama wanted to be the candidate. You've seen Mark Kelly and his activism against guns, very prominent Democrat, and that's who it is reported from an anonymous source that that's exactly who Obama wanted to be the actual candidate. So is there something to be said there that maybe they'll go second? They'll take him at second? I don't know. Many people thinking that it could be, a lot of comments come in, that it could be Josh Shapiro. Yeah, I tend to think it's going to be Josh Shapiro. There's just been so much coverage. Have you seen his, there's actually a video of it, I think it was at the New York Post this morning, that he has stolen the cadence of Barack Obama and the way that he speaks. You have to find that for yourself, or if he's pitched, you'll see plenty of it. Yes, it does look like an attack on Israel today. One comment from a viewer. Yeah, Iran, Russia, China, not a bit scared of the U.S. being so weak. Harris will not answer one question. Yes. She won't answer questions, especially on that issue. That's tough for her. She doesn't want to be labeled like Genocide Joe because, unfortunately, her party has become a very strong anti-Israel party. And so right now she's playing both sides. She's on the fence. Another comment from a different viewer. I'm thinking she's going to end up with Pennsylvania's Josh Shapiro as VP. I tend to think side with you, though I think Mark Kelly is probably the stronger candidate. But there seems to be a lot of, to use the media's term, momentum behind Josh Shapiro. But now there's a little pushback because he has had to defend his stance on Israel after an op-ed he penned more than 3 decades ago, in which he wrote of being an Israeli army volunteer and disparaged the Palestinian people, has resurfaced. This is not good at a time, again, when the Democrat Party has shown this very anti-Israel streak. Quote, since he wrote this piece as a 20-year-old student, Governor Shapiro has built close, meaningful, informative relationships with many Muslim Americans, Arab Americans, Palestinian Christians, and Jewish community leaders all across Pennsylvania. The governor greatly values their perspective. You can tell he's running for VP, can't you? And the experiences he has learned from over the years. And as a result, as with many issues, his views on the Middle East have evolved into the position he holds today. The Philadelphia Inquirer uncovered the essay that Shapiro wrote for the Campus Times, the student newspaper of the University of Rochester, from which Shapiro graduated in 1995. In the article, Shapiro stressed his view that, quote, Palestinians will not peacefully coexist because they do not have the capabilities to establish their own homelands and make it successful even with the aid of Israel and the United States. They are too battle-minded to be able to establish a peaceful homeland of their own. He referred to the Arab world as divided and belligerent. The comments have resurfaced as a part of a thorough review of Shapiro as he edges closer to a potential VP nod. Now, this could be one of those scenarios where maybe that was released by Mark Kelly, or maybe, the behind-the-scenes campaigning for VP. Those who opposed his candidacy have already launched the No Genocide Josh campaign and continued pressure Harris to pick another running mate. Oh, that's interesting. Genocide Josh. They found that it worked with Joe. Some Jewish members of Congress have said that criticism of Shapiro is unfair and assumes that Jewish politicians cannot be objective on Israel. Greg Landsman, a Democrat from Ohio, said, I think there is that sense that somehow we're not objective on Israel because we're Jewish, which is just not true or fair. There are a lot of members who are pro-Israel who have been protested against. I think as Jews, it feels particularly intense and personal. All right. I am going to take a short break. Some other comments coming in. Running just a little bit late on this Monday morning edition of Frankly Speaking. As I mentioned, our friend Amy from Casa Trinity will be our guest in the next hour. You do not want to miss that. Boy, we had a fun show on Friday. If you missed Friday, you missed a heck of a show. Mike Sapricone, the gentleman running for Senate here in New York State against Gillibrand, he joined us for the first full hour. I expected maybe a 10-minute interview. Nope, we got the first hour. So if you missed that, if you didn't tune in on Friday at 6, maybe you slept in, no problem. It is posted on our YouTube page, so you can find it there and see that full interview with Mike Sapricone running for United States Senate. All right, let's take a short break. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, stay with us.
If you or a loved one regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, you may be entitled to significant financial compensation.
I've used hair relaxers for years. I had no idea they could cause cancer.
Chemical hair relaxers and straighteners have been linked to serious conditions, including several types of cancer.
How do I know if I have a case?
Call 844-292-6222 and consult with one of our attorneys to find out if the products you used are part of the lawsuit. Your eligibility will also depend on how often you use these hair products and your specific cancer diagnosis. If you regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, call us now. Call 844-292-6222.
How much will it cost to talk to an attorney?
There is no fee unless we win your case. Call 844-292-6222 for your free case review.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Aubrey.
For over 40 years, the Blaze Alexander family dealerships have been making car buying easy, affordable, with respect for your time.
And we do that by treating all of our customers like family.
By making sure you get the lowest rates, biggest discounts, and most for your trade.
By providing clean, comfortable, and convenient service.
By offering the largest selection of new and pre-owned vehicles every day. Visit a Blaze Alexander family dealership,
where we're taking the deals
the other guys won't.
Rated the hearing aids of 2023 by Forbes, the Audion Atom 2 series offers superior sound quality and functionality for a fraction of the price. For just $189 a pair, the Atom 2 features 4 different hearing modes for all types of hearing loss. It packs crystal clear sound, a nearly invisible design, and is even rechargeable.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids. They're so comfortable, I forget I'm wearing them. And the sound is amazing.
The Atom Pro 2 is our smallest hearing aid yet, featuring advanced background noise cancellation and is the world's first hearing aid with built-in UV cleaning that kills 99% of bacteria.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed without seeing a doctor or having a hearing test.
Join over 500,000 happy customers today and get the hearing you deserve.
Call 1-800-434-9816 or go to audionhearing.com to get your pair of Audion hearing aids starting at just $189.
And we are back. Welcome to Frankly Speaking. We got so many great comments coming in. Thank you to this viewer. I'll read a couple messages coming in with the same kind of idea. I'm watching Frankly Speaking on Big Fox. Well, thank you. And I can't get to the text, but don't worry about that. But I just want to say I'm a rural New York Republican. And I would like to say, why doesn't Trump insist on a debate on Fox, which is one of the greatest watched channels here in the Southern Tier, Pennsylvania, Northern Tier, and all of us who love Trump and know that he can do a great job for America again. And he should insist on staying with Fox. And if she doesn't show up, that's on her. He should set the date and have all the Fox people there that ask the hard questions of him and get the right answers from him and keep him going instead of ranting. Yes. Thank you. Please insist on this with Trump and anything you have to do to get him to stick with Fox and insist. I'll be there on this date. You show up. We'll have a debate. Otherwise, stick with your ABC and I'll stick with Fox. Thank you for your program. I like you, frankly. Bye. Thank you so much. I see you called again. Yes, I would agree. I think he has to put his foot down. Listen, he made a lot of concessions when he agreed to Biden because he was saying anytime, any place, anywhere. So he says, okay, fine, I'll do all these things, which actually ended up working out in his favor. But that wasn't the theory at first. But he doesn't have to do that to Harris. Harris has never even received a vote from a Democrat to be the presidential nominee. So he doesn't have to cave like he did last time, for lack of a better word. He can stand strong. I would agree with you. An interview with him and Miss Fancy Pants, who thinks she knows it all, doesn't show up, then it's on her, because Big Fox is where we hear the good questions, the necessary questions, and get the necessary and good answers from Trump. He doesn't rant like he does at his rallies. That's true. We need him to sit and answer questions on Big Fox. Please promote this. I will. I would love to see him stick with Fox. I think he could get away with that, saying, hey, I'm the nominee. I actually got the votes. So, no, I don't have to give in like I did to Biden, who's the president. I'm going to say Fox on September 4th, because I think that's the date that he gave. September 4th, Fox, be there or be square, as I used to say. Show up. And if she doesn't show up, have it be a town hall type format where he gets all the questions. Now, back to the VP run, and I would pose that question to anybody. Do you think he should stand strong, or are you in the camp that thinks do the ABC interview, because it's the only chance you're probably going to have of Harris getting questions from reporters and having to answer for her record from what Trump says? Because right now, whether you like it or not, it looks as if this campaign is going to be from the basement, to use that term. It is going to be run like the Biden race, which is everything scripted. Everything is on a teleprompter. No real questions. Yeah, she's talked to reporters, but not a press conference after 15 days. And no one's calling her on her record. No one's calling her about her past far-left ideology. As a matter of fact, we already see the media scrubbing her record, as we saw with, was it YouGov, that took down her ranking, that she was the most liberal senator when she was in Senate. They said, well, it was only 1 year, so it's not fair to judge her on that. But John Fetterman, who's been very pro-Israel, he is a Democrat, as you know. John Fetterman, the man that wanted to wear hoodies and things like that on the Senate floor. His advisors have reportedly badmouthed his home state governor, Josh Shapiro, to Harris's campaign. Fetterman's beef with Shapiro dates back to a lengthy rivalry the duo had over the years, and his concerns that the governor focuses too much on his own ambitions. This is coming from Politico. Specifically, the two feuded during their time together on Pennsylvania's Board of Pardons, where Fetterman was often more inclined toward leniency. The two clashed hard over how to handle the conviction of Lee and Dennis Horton, two brothers who were convicted in 1993 robbery and shooting. Fetterman was serving as lieutenant governor at the time, while Shapiro was the state's attorney general in 2019 when the Horton brothers' clemency case came before them. Both brothers maintained their innocence, and the vote initially failed 2-3 in 2019, with Fetterman and Shapiro at odds. Shapiro had conveyed reservations about missing court documentation. Anyway, you don't need to go through all that, but now you have, again, behind-the-scenes campaigns. Have you noticed that? I maybe haven't seen a lot of Shapiro, but they were highlighting it at New York Post this morning, and it's really odd, stealing Obama's cadence when he gives a speech. Chris Christie says it's Trump who created Josh Shapiro. Chris Christie was on ABC's this week. As I mentioned, he loves bad-mouthing Trump. It gets him this attention. He gets to be a talking head. He gets to be a pundit. We've seen this, unfortunately, from Republicans way too often. If Harris picks Shapiro on Tuesday, Donald Trump created Josh Shapiro. He endorsed Mastorino, the weakest Republican candidate in that field. What it allowed Josh Shapiro to do was, instead of playing to his base to try to win a narrow election, he saw an opportunity for a coalition-building election. The only reason he could do it is because Trump made another ridiculously stupid endorsement by endorsing Mastorino, who was a flawed, weak, bad candidate. Mastorino, a state senator, got walloped by Shapiro 56.5% to 41.7% in the 2022 midterm elections. Well, thanks. Very helpful, Chris Christie. It should be Josh Shapiro. I don't think this is a hard choice. He's a very talented politician. He's extraordinarily popular, 65% job approval in the state she needs to win. This is really important. I tend not to agree with Chris Christie ever, but I tend to believe it is going to be Josh Shapiro because of that popularity. So we'll talk more about that. A little bit of scandal over the weekend with Kamala Harris's husband, but I say scandal, and you probably didn't hear about it. If you did hear about it, it's because you went to the New York Post or you went to Fox. The media is, well, I'm going to say it, the honeymoon period is going to be about 4 months, just so you know. It is going to be fawning coverage of her, no negative coverage. Anything that is negative will be buried. If she does debate or give a press conference, it will be considered amazing. It will be considered great. She's an all-new candidate. She's an all-new person. We never realized that she was going to be this good and this powerful and this strong. We've already seen articles like that. It is only going to continue for the next 3 to 4 months. I didn't realize my tie was so messed up this morning. All right, let's take a short break. When we come back, more of your comments, more waves, hopefully. And we're going to talk about who you believe, a couple questions this morning. Who do you believe will be the VP? Have you had issues like so many viewers who have sent in, one from Chemung County, not sure where the other is from, having issues with registering to vote, not receiving their card, saying that they're all set, that they're all in the books, that they're registered? Have you been having that problem as well? Please reach out. And one other question I'm going to pose that we may talk about later on. Nancy Pelosi, who we know was instrumental in helping to push Biden out of his reelection campaign, she now says that Biden should be on Mount Rushmore because he's been that consequential of a president. What do you think? If any president could go up on Mount Rushmore, who would you want? Joe Biden, as Nancy Pelosi suggested? Let me know. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Attention, Elmeron may lead to vision loss.
If you have suffered vision problems after taking Elmeron to treat bladder pain, call the Hearn Law Firm. Elmeron may be responsible for your vision problems, and you may deserve compensation for your injuries.
If you took Elmeron and now have vision problems, call the Hearn Law Firm at 888-308-3866 right now. You could find out if you qualify in less than 2 minutes. Call 888-308-3866 for your free case review.
Stock up for summer and save at GCP Discount Liquors and Wines. Svedka Vodka, normally $20.99, is on sale for $18.99. Save up to $24 on a case with mail-in rebate. Your final cost, $12.99 per bottle. 1.5-liter Woodbridge wine, regularly $11.99, is on sale for $9.99. Save with a rebate of up to $24 on a case. GCP Discount Liquors and Wines and Horseheads, the best in service, selection, and price.
Rip and tear your old statements and bills, but thieves use this information to steal your identity. Don't be a victim. Get the ID Police, the new ink roller that encrypts all your old documents. So before you throw it out, just roll it on, and your information is gone, both on the front and through the back. Even if the paper is held up to the light, even your medical information is safe with the ID Police. So block it out before you throw it out. Order now and get your ID Police for as low as $9.99 and get free shipping too. This offer is not available on Amazon, so call or click now to get your ID Police for as low as $9.99 with free shipping. Order now.
Call 1-800-898-1002. That's 1-800-898-1002 or visit getidpolice.com. So call 1-800-898-1002. Order now.
And we are back. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. I'm so glad that you joined us this morning. Here's a comment from a viewer. If Trump gets elected and keeps us out of World War III and solves all that he says he will do, he should be the one added to Rushmore. Thank you very much for that comment. Thank you for all the comments this morning. We're hitting the ground running on this Monday morning edition here on August the 5th. Now, Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff, admits to cheating on his first wife after a bombshell report he impregnated the nanny. The second gentleman reportedly strayed from then-wife Kirsten over a decade and a half ago with a blonde nanny named Najen Naylor. who taught at a private school attended by their 2 children. Naylor did not keep the baby. A close friend with direct knowledge of the affair and pregnancy told the Daily Mail. It's unclear what exactly the friend meant. Hours after the outlet's report, Emhoff admitted having an affair in a statement to CNN that didn't name Naylor or address her alleged pregnancy. During my first marriage, Kirsten and I went through some tough times on account of my action, and I took responsibility. In the years since, we worked through things as a family and have come out stronger on the other side. All right. That was a story that you may have seen over the weekend. Did you see that Chelsea Clinton is eyeing a UK diplomatic post if Kamala Harris wins election? Chelsea really wants to be the ambassador to the UK, said a Clinton source. There's a reason, this was coming from the New York Post, there's a reason why Bill and Hillary came out in the first 5 minutes to support Kamala's presidential bid. They were currying favor. The sources said that Clintons have been working on this idea for a long time and would like to see her accepted by the court of St. James. Ooh, interesting. I could well imagine that the UK ambassadorship is an aspiration for Chelsea, although she is a bit junior still, and London usually goes to a massive donor or fundraiser. It is, of course, fantasy land. Oh, wow, so many comments. I will read the comments after the next break because there's just so many and I don't like doing that live on the air. Jimmy Carter's wish for his 100th birthday is to make it to vote for Kamala Harris. The oldest living former president will hit the milestone on October the 1st, but it seems Election Day on November 5th is what Jimmy Carter's been thinking about most, according to his grandson. Now, there's something about his grandson always speaking for his grandfather. Okay, that's fine. But remember, he's the one that's really been counting Jimmy Carter out from day one when he first entered hospice. Remember, and he said, well, that's it. He doesn't have much longer. That was over a year ago. And in that time, didn't he even go to the Peanut Festival? Anyway, I'm only trying to make it to vote for Kamala Harris, Jason Carter said. The 99-year-old told his son Chip. The Georgia peanut farmer, who served as president from 77 to 81, entered hospice care in February of 2023 and was not expected to live much longer. 18 months later, his grandson said he recently told Chip he was much more concerned about seeing Harris elected to the White House over her opponent, Donald Trump, rather than reaching the century mark. He's also more alert and interested in politics and the war in Gaza, Jason Carter said. The remarks come 3 months after he gave an ominous update about his grandfather's health. Quote, he really is, I think, coming to the end that, as I've said before, there's a part of this faith journey that is so important to him. And there's a part of that faith journey that you only can live at the very end. So I think he has been there in that space. Carter would be able to cast his ballot just 2 weeks after his 100th birthday when Georgia's early voting period kicks off on October the 15th. There you go. So kind of an update on Jimmy Carter, but he's trying to make it to 100 so he can vote for Kamala Harris. We're going to tell you a little bit about what the polls have to say. Trump's campaign not happy with the polls. The polls are showing a very, very tight race. Some even having Harris up. Now, you've got to keep in mind, though, this honeymoon period, the media has done nothing but fawn over her. She's got nothing but positive coverage. Not a single piece of negative information coming out about Harris, only about Trump. They are ignoring the assassination attempt on Trump, not wanting to show that historic, iconic picture. It's all so predictable, folks, but it all doesn't mean it's any less frustrating. So we're going to talk about that, but I don't want to run late. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Have you been unable to work for over a year due to a mental or physical disability?
Were you recently denied Social Security disability benefits? Great news. You may be eligible for money, back pay, relief.
If you've been pre-qualified and diagnosed with a recognized condition that prohibits you from working, our lawyers can file a claim to get your disability benefit.
Call us today and find out more.
Call now, 844-617-0440.
Is it most important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselsen's hot tub. Hesselsen's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselsen's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselsen's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselsen's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselsen's.
The Bix website is here now. WYDCTV.com. Local and national news that keeps you informed and involved. WYDCTV.com. Today's weather up to date and in your town. WYDCTV.com. Sports news, local events, and health stories that affect you. WYDCTV.com. The Big Fox website. Your news here now. WYDCTV.com.
And we are back with Frankly Speaking. So many comments coming in this morning. To the caller who mentions that they call on the text line. No, that's what it's for, to leave a voicemail or to text. So thank you for your comment talking about monument for the indigenous people of the United States that Biden has paid no attention to and Trump has. And Trump should be, or should in the future, because they've been here forever, meaning the indigenous people, and they're going to be here forever. And they have the best traditions in America and in the whole earth. They listen to Mother Earth and how to treat her, and they're the best, honest people that I know. And Crazy Horse Monument should be the one that honors the real people of this earth. Thank you. Thank you. Just so you know, yes, you can absolutely call the text number. Leave a voicemail at any time. The one thing it does is it translates it, for lack of a better word, into the written word, so I can quickly... I'll read it on the show. So if I miss the gist of it, sometimes they don't get the words correct or 100% correct. So if I didn't make your point, I apologize. But no, feel free to leave a voicemail at any time. And you're welcome for putting your comment on the air anytime. And she said, even though I call on your text line, or he or she, I don't know, I haven't listened to it yet. I'm just reading the words in regard to Nancy Pelosi and her best friend. Meaning Kamala Harris. Yes. Another comment from a different viewer. Ask the Democrat viewers to name one foreign policy by this administration that has been in the best interest of the United States. Okay, there. I just posed the question on the air. To Democrat viewers, name one foreign policy by this administration that has been in the best interest of the United States of America. Thank you very much. A different comment. Good morning, Frank. Good morning. I believe that the media will promote Harris as amazing and try and will run with how wonderful they are right up to Election Day. I agree. It's very frustrating. I don't think the honeymoon period ever goes away. I think what you'll have, because the media knows they just have to keep propping her up for 3 months. That's nothing in the media world, in the political world. So 3 to 4 months, just prop her up. They're not going to demand she take questions. They're not going to call her out on her job of that scandal, the biggest scandal in presidential history, perhaps, which is the cover-up of Joe Biden's health and how an important role she played in that cover-up. There's so many things that she could be called on that they will. Just the fact that she's never received a single Democrat vote, and yet she is a Democrat nominee for president. So there's so many things that she should be asked. But here we are, day 15, I believe it is, day 14 or 15, where she has yet to hold a press conference. And of course, her rallies are all scripted. It's all teleprompter. One even defending that, saying, yeah, but she knows how to pick a really good speech. They are going to do everything. Now, Trump campaign is seething at the new polls that shows him dead even with Harris in battleground states. Former President Trump and Harris notched 50% apiece in the battleground state average, and the vice president scored a 1-point lead over the Republican nominee in a national head-to-head matchup, according to a CBS News YouGov poll, garnering 50% to Trump, or 50% Harris to Trump's 49%. Republicans haven't won the national popular vote in a presidential election since 2004. But Trump's team quickly cried foul, saying, quote, the fake news media continue to help dangerously liberal Kamala hide her record on economic failure and soft on crime policies. Now, as the analysis shows, they'll even put a finger on the scale of polling to inflate results for her. Trump's campaign dispersed a memo from a data consultant, claiming that the poll may have been manipulated. In the memo, a data analyst noted how the most recent poll saw an increase of self-identifying liberals in the sample of registered voters by about 1.7 percentage points relative to the sample used in CBS YouGov poll. Polls are typically subject to different variations in the exact sample size of those surveyed. The Post contacted CBS News and YouGov for comment. Yeah, there you are. And the attacks continue on J.D. Vance. I know I posed this question for you last week. I'll ask it again. What do you think so far of the J.D. Vance pick? I know the media has a long knives out for him. I think this morning his wife is giving an interview, which means she's done more sit-down interviews than the presumptive Democrat nominee. But his wife is going to give an interview. I really look forward to seeing that. I'm going to have to watch it after the fact, but I think she was a very powerful speaker at the RNC and a real asset to the Trump campaign. We're also going to talk a little bit more here about Harris. We do have some Biden stories because, as we mentioned, Iran could attack Israel as soon as today. And then you sometimes forget, as you take a step back, Biden is still president of the United States. The man that we saw on that debate platform, that man is still currently the leader of the free world. That's a scary thought and something that you almost glance over with the media's constant talk of Harris and her campaign. So we'll be talking a little bit about Biden, a few things here about Trump, a lot to cover. So keep those great comments coming in. We're having a lot of fun on the program this morning, and we're moving right along. As I mentioned, Amy from Casa Trinity will be joining us in the next hour. If you missed Friday's show and you missed Mike Sapricone, you missed a lot. He is running for Senate against Gillibrand. I have posted that on YouTube. Normally we wait a week before we post because of our advertisers. But in this case, seeing that he gave the whole hour to us so we could find out about his campaign, about his thoughts on Trump and Hochul and so many other issues, because he's been endorsed by former President Trump. I think he said 3 times. Saying you never know when it's going to come, just out of nowhere. But we had a great talk with him, a great chat. I did not expect it to last 50 minutes, but I'm really glad it did. So you can find that on YouTube. That's why I say you've got to set your alarm, tune in right at 6 a.m. every weekday morning for Frankly Speaking, because you never know what you can miss. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox. We'll be right back after this.
I'm Marianne Crawford. I've lived here for 70 years, but I do fine right here in my house, and I want to be here as long as I can be. And I feel comfortable knowing that if something happened to me, someone would know because of the cameras that are installed in various spots in my home. That has been a wonderful gift to me to be able to have that security and that support from Full Circle America, and that's what it's all about.
It's a season of Sherry.
Having a good time has always been my #1 goal. I tend to get crazy. At my age, I should not be jumping up and down like that. And if you don't know what I mean, ask your mama. The young ones, y'all like, we don't know what you're talking about. But I promise you, in 30 years, you will.
It's the best time in daytime.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on Big Fox.
Welcome to Frankly Speaking, talking to the people that affect your life, that affect all of our day-to-day lives. This is something you're not going to get anywhere else. We've got a lot to offer. There'll be a lot of news, local, regional, national, really the things that affect you. And I think you'll be glad that you tuned in. So think of it as radio on TV. Frankly Speaking, live, 2 hours long, starting at 6 a.m. on WYDC TV Big Fox. This is History Making. Can you believe it? Hour #1, almost in the books. Boy, time goes quickly when you have so much to talk about. Keep those comments coming in. There's so many articles telling us what's rattling Trump, what's making Trump nervous. The excitement behind Harris is making him nervous. These polls are making him nervous. Now we learn the size of Harris's crowd. Now keep in mind, she is running very much like, Biden, but like Hillary did, which is to have some type of celebrity there, maybe perform some songs before to get those crowds in. But according to Seattle Times, when former President Donald Trump walked onto the stage at his rally in Atlanta, fog machines shot white plumes of smoke in the air If you look closely, you could almost imagine steam pouring out of his ears, too. All week long, something had been giving him the vapors. Crazy Kamala, he fumed a minute into his speech. She was here a week ago, lots of empty seats. But the crowd she got was because she had entertainers. 4 days earlier, Vice President Harris had packed about the same number of people, 10,000, into the arena, the Georgia State University Convocation Center. It was the first major rally at her newborn campaign, and she had 2 rappers on hand to hype up the crowd. Trump, who has been shunned by much of the entertainment industry, spun this as somehow cheating in an all-important competition over crowd size. I don't need entertainers. I fill the stadium because I'm making America great again. So they hate the fact that, and they've always hated his rallies. I mean, they used to play them because they thought it was just a circus. They thought it was a joke because they're in their little bubble. But what he was saying resonated with the American people. It's one of the reasons why he won back in 2016. But the Democrats, other than Bernie, have never really been able to match that excitement that Trump has at the rally, just being Trump. It's not the celebrities. There's not rappers involved. There's not actors and comedians. Just Trump. Yeah, sometimes he has a guest speaker at the beginning, which I guess there's a new star. And I've got to find that video. They're talking about how good his opener was in Atlanta. But anyway, so now they're, I guess, mocking Trump because Harris is getting good turnout at the first rally of her campaign when there's celebrities involved in it. I'm concerned. I'm confused, excuse me. The numbers game has long been of paramount importance for Trump. As a reality television star, he was obsessed with ratings. This only intensified once he entered politics. He spent his first full day in office as president trying to convince the news media that his inauguration crowd was larger than the Women's March the day before. The crowds he has drawn to his rallies this campaign season have been as big as ever. Whether in blistering heat or deep freeze, his supporters line up for hours beforehand to see him. Trump's previous 2 rivals, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, could never compete with him on that front. What will it mean if his new challenger can? So her first big rally, yeah, she'll have a huge turnout in Pennsylvania because she's going to announce her VP pick. After that, she's going on tour, holding rallies in western Wisconsin, Detroit, Raleigh, North Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. And it's starting to screw with Trump's psyche. In Atlanta, his surrogates reassured everyone that he was still the hottest ticket in town. Still, Trump couldn't help but focus on those who weren't piling in. He claimed the Georgia State University officials in charge of the arena prevented him from letting in more people. We have a beautiful camera set up for the overflow crowds. A massive screen flashed to a live video feed of his red-capped supporters milling around outside in the 90-degree heat. So I'm really confused at what this article by the Seattle Times is trying to say. He gets huge turnouts, but he's still upset that Harris is getting better turnouts than Biden or Hillary did. Anyway, when she has rappers and celebrities involved, okay, just strange. Now, Harris has refused, to that viewer's comments, has refused the Fox News September 4th debate. We're going to talk about that at the top of the hour as it is being reported. Iran could attack Israel as soon as today, so we'll try to keep you updated on that. If breaking news happens during the program, you can let me know. Or you can also text me or call and let me know if there is breaking news. Sorry, I just saw some other comments coming in, which we'll get to in the next hour, so stay with us. Hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2 in mere moments. So don't go anywhere. This is, Frankly Speaking, here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, hour number 2, coming up next.
Attention, Elmeron may lead to vision loss.
If you have suffered vision problems after taking Elmeron to treat bladder pain, call the Hearn Law Firm. Elmeron may be responsible for your vision problems, and you may deserve compensation for your injuries.
If you took Elmeron and now have vision problems, call the Hearn Law Firm at 888-308-3866 right now. You could find out if you qualify in less than 2 minutes. Call 888-308-3866 for your free case review.
Oh, water tasting is better for the planet?
That's great, sir. Can I take your order?
Oh, number 3.
At Culligan, we get that most people don't think about water like we do, and that's okay. You see, when we install our drinking water and softening systems, we're thinking about filtering contaminants and the minerals that make water hard. So you can just think about softer, cleaner, better tasting water. At Culligan, we think about your water so you don't have to.
Call today to schedule your free water test.
Name something with a diamond in it.
Diamondback rattlesnake.
It's in the name. Name a low-calorie food you might make your edible underwear out of.
Salmon.
Watch it weeknights. Share it the next day.
Wild caught Norwegian teriyaki.
Well, good morning if you're just joining us. Hour number 2 of Frankly Speaking begins here on WYDC TV, Big Fox, broadcasting live and proudly from the Hesselson studio here on historic Market Street. So many comments coming in this morning. You guys are fired up. Well, we can't. I can't get to all of them quite yet. And coming up a little bit later on, we're going to talk with Amy from Casa Trinity, so you don't want to miss that. Let's start out with the first comment. Frank, now that Kamala has been confirmed as the Democrat candidate, and the Democrats knowing that getting her in the Oval Office will be harder than a camel passing through the eye of a needle. Very nice. They either need to cheat more than they did to get Biden elected, which will be hard without a pandemic, or Kamala will have to do the same thing Biden did and come up with an excuse to step down just prior to the convention. However, being retired and with too much time on my hands, I've come up with a foolproof way that they can get Kamala behind the resolute desk without an intense cheating operation. She could name Michelle Obama as her VP. That would make her invincible and give Michelle experience that would eventually catapult her into the presidency. Thank you, Ken. I guess we'll see. The announcement could come. It sounds like it'll come tomorrow. The list of people she's been vetting, Michelle Obama's name has not appeared on that list, but that's not to say she couldn't be a surprise pick. So I understand your point. Thank you, Ken. Another comment from a viewer. Change of topic. Quite a few people will have already voted well before Election Day. I don't believe that voting should be open as long as it is, but I believe that one-day voting is antiquated. I would say 10 business days would work well, and Election Day itself be a national holiday, allowing everyone to vote. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I think it should be a national holiday. I plan on voting early this year for the first time. I know Republicans are being encouraged to vote early, so I would encourage you as well. Another comment from a different viewer. We were talking about Iran's potential attack on Israel happening today. Iran won't attack between the hours of 10 and 4. Good point. That's when the leader of the free world is at his finest, at his best, between the hours of 10 and 4. So they'll probably steer clear of those hours. Thank you very much, viewer. Okay, so Kamala Harris has refused the Fox News September 4th debate. She's spinning it, though, as Trump is a coward. Donald Trump is running scared and trying to back out of the debate he already agreed to. Whoa. He agreed to that with Biden. Just because your party's fine with pushing you in without having any support from voters or no vote from a voter, just because your party's fine with that doesn't mean that Trump just says, okay, all the old rules that were in place under Biden now stand the same for Harris. But I'll continue with what she had to say. Donald Trump is running scared and trying to back out of the debate he already agreed to and running straight to Fox News to bail him out. He needs to stop playing games and show up to the debate he already committed to on September 10th. The vice president will be there one way or the other to take the opportunity to speak to a primetime national audience. We're happy to discuss further debates after the one both campaigns have already agreed to. Mr. Anytime, Anywhere, Anyplace should have no problem with that unless he's too scared to show up on the 10th. The 10th is on ABC News. Last Friday, Trump said he agreed to debate Harris on Fox News. On September 4th, the debate has previously scheduled against Sleepy Joe Biden on ABC, but has been terminated in that Biden will no longer be a participant. The Fox News debate will be held in the Great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania at a site in an area to be determined. The moderators of the debate will be Brett Baer and Martha McCullum, and the rules will be similar to the rules of my debate with Sleepy Joe, who has been treated horribly by his party. But with a full arena audience. Oh, look, all the waves coming in. Thank you. President Joe Biden and Trump previously agreed to a debate on September the 10th, but after Biden dropped out of the race, Stephen Chung, Trump's campaign communications director, said on July 25th the event was scuttled. It would be inappropriate to schedule things with Harris because Democrats very well could still change their mind, he said at the time. So our one viewer saying that Trump should stand strong on that, still show up at Fox, still show up to that arena. And if Harris does not want to show, that's her own problem. But you notice how they get to control the rules. So Harris saying, well, no, you already agreed to this. Well, no, Harris, that was to Biden. I mean, you may forget that Biden is still president. He was still, at the time, campaigning for president. She may forget because she never had to go against a primary. She never had to be voted on by her own party. So maybe there's a little confusion there. But no, those rules were agreed to in regards to Biden. Now, Trump says Harris is not smart enough to debate him. This coming out over the weekend. Kamala Harris doesn't have the mental capacity to do a real debate against me, scheduled for September 4th in Pennsylvania. She's afraid to do it because there's no way she can justify her corrupt and open borders, the environmental destruction of our country, the Afghanistan embarrassment, runaway inflation, terrible economy, high interest rates and taxes, and her years-long fight to stop the words Merry Christmas. I'll see her on September 4th, or I won't see her at all. She's acknowledged to be the worst vice president in history, which works very nicely against the worst president, crooked Joe Biden. The combination of those two low IQ individuals have destroyed our country, but we will make America great again. So that's former President Trump. Thank you for all the waves that are coming in. Now, David Axelrod and James Carville had this mindset too, which is, yes, you're excited right now about Harris. Everybody's just so excited it's not Biden. Man, to Donald Trump's point, they really did treat Biden like garbage, if you think about it. You got to almost feel for the man. A loyal Democrat his whole life, and then just like that, his whole party turned against him. But Nancy Pelosi, even smirking when asked over the weekend, did you help push Biden out? No, smiling, then says that he should be on Mount Rushmore. So I pose this question to you, a couple questions this morning. Do you believe Biden should be on Mount Rushmore? Here's our questions from this morning. Have you had an issue with registering to vote? I heard from two people over the weekend that had issues with registering to vote. I think one was definitely from Chemung County. I think the other one may have been as well. So if you've had that problem, please keep us updated. I think, just to go back to the debate for just a second, because I see some comments coming out of the debate, I wish that Trump would show up to the Fox News one. Yes. Even if she doesn't. But I do want to see him debate her, because I think you'll see the weakness in her. Because right now, she's just happy to run out the clock, is what we're seeing with speeches that are obviously on the teleprompter, that are obviously pre-rehearsed. So kind of running the campaign like Biden did back in 2020. This would give Trump an opportunity to call her out on a record, because we know that the media will not do so. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But Axelrod saying, whoa. There's a lot of irrational exuberance for Kamala Harris. We're going to talk about that when we come back. I want to take a break a little bit early, because we're going to be speaking with Amy from Casa Trinity right around 7:20. Keep those comments coming in. We got a lot of waves and a lot of comments. We'll get to them when we come back. So what do you think? Mount Rushmore for Biden? Neil Gorsuch over the weekend saying, be careful about this reform. We're going to talk about Biden and the Supreme Court reform. Few other things. If you want to, I know we talked about this on Friday. If you want to talk about that Algerian boxer who's at the center of that controversy in the Olympics, feel free to do so. I would love to get your take on all of those issues and much more. So stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
I'm Marianne Crawford. I've lived here for 70 years, but I do fine right here in my house, and I want to be here as long as I can be. And I feel comfortable knowing that if something happened to me, someone would know because of the cameras that are installed in various spots in my home. That has been a wonderful gift to me, to be able to have that security and that support from Full Circle America, and that's what it's all about.
What's up, guys? What I'm about to show you is going to change the way you shave your head forever.
You can shave your head in 90 seconds or less
with no cuts or nicks.
Introducing Remington's new and improved Balder Boss. With increased flex and 5 dual-track floating head designs, get over 60% more head coverage for a faster, closer shave and skin-close results. And only through this exclusive TV offer, now you can try it in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. Balder Boss is the fast, easy, safe way to shave your head, wet or dry, in 90 seconds or less, without nicks or cuts.
No nicks, no scrapes, fit in the palm of my hand, and the results were amazing.
The 360-degree pivoting neck contours closely around your head curves for maximum contact, anytime, anywhere, in 90 seconds or less. With exclusive Wet Tech technology, shave in the shower, or with any foam or gel. Japanese-grade steel blades and turbo power plow through the thickest of hair, yet gentle enough it won't irritate skin. With pure lithium power that lasts up to an incredible 60 minutes. That's like 1 full month of use without a recharge. Then easily rinses clean. There's even a pop-up trimmer to complete your perfect groom. Now you can try the Remington Balder Boss in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. But wait, order now and we'll ship it to you absolutely free. You can also get our ear, nose, and brow trimmer for the ultimate groom. Free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Every Balder Boss comes with a 5-year limited warranty where durability is guaranteed, plus a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you don't absolutely love it, send it back, but keep the trimmer as our gift just for trying.
I got a clean, nice, smooth shave in under 90 seconds. No nicks, no cuts.
So order now.
And we are back, frankly speaking, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. Thank you again for joining us. So many comments coming in. Let's get right to them. Imagine if Trump hadn't been in this race, or for that matter, if he had never been president. The American spirit would have been lost to a totally different world. I dare say he's brought politics of the presidency to the forefront of consciousness in Americans. Thank you very much. I would agree. Another comment from a different viewer. Trump should agree to both debates, which would put the declination of the Fox debate by Kamala front and center. Yes, the idea that if she turned that down, but he said, okay, I'm going to do ABC News, but I'm going to do Fox too. She would then be forced to turn it down, though they are good at painting Fox as some nefarious organization, when really, look at the questions that Trump got from ABC at that conference, or in just his whole political career. Look at how the media has treated him. It goes to that point that we've said a Democrat could never handle, and I talked about this with former Congressman Joe Sempolinski last time, Democrat could never handle being a Republican for even an hour because of tough questions. That's what was so shocking about Biden and why it was so eye-opening to see the media turning on him, wanting him to step aside, because that is so rare, so unlikely to ever happen, that it was fascinating to watch. And I've heard from a lot of people, political commentators, but also people on the ground in Washington saying, wow, this is now Democrats know what it's like to be a typical Republican on any day with the tough questions being thrown at them. But I tend to agree both, only because I think we want more opportunities to see the candidates, but also I think Trump supporters would want the opportunity to make Harris answer tough questions, call her on her record, which won't happen if she continues just with the televised or the telepromptered rallies. Another comment from a different viewer. Have you seen Kamala's campaign commercials? I have not. President Trump could in any environment put her on the defensive. Yes. Another comment from a different viewer. Quite quickly, Trump should take advantage of this situation and agree to debate Harris on ABC only if she agrees to the Fox debate. Interesting point. As I said, I'd like to see both debates. I don't see her ever agreeing to a Fox debate. She believes that she has the upper hand at this point, and why wouldn't she? When you're surrounded by yes men and a fawning media, she believes that she's inevitable, untouchable. So she said, hey, you already agreed to this debate, which of course he didn't. He agreed to a debate with Biden. So he has a right to change up the scenario, change up the rules. But Harris making hay out of it, saying that he's scared. Another comment from a different viewer. I do think Biden should be on Mount Rushmore. Not carved into it, but cleaning the newly carved likeness of Donald J. Trump. Thank you, Ken. So Axelrod, as I mentioned, was on CNN's Newsroom Live on Saturday. And this is what he had to say about Harris's candidacy. His whole message has been built for 2 years now around strength. He's strong. He's the guy who can handle these problems and so on. This is reference to Trump. And now he's got a younger and more agile opponent when it comes to debating. And he doesn't want to debate. I don't know that it's a great look for him. I do think at the end of the day, he may feel he has to debate. I think there's a justifiable sense of concern in his camp that this thing could get away from him. It may be their race to lose, but it's a race. So it could be lost, which is something they didn't feel when they left the convention in Milwaukee. There's a lot of irrational exuberance on the Democrat side of the aisle right now because there was despair for some period of time about what November was going to look like. Now people feel that there's a chance, but it's absolutely Trump's race to lose right now. He is ahead, and he is ahead in most of the battleground states. They're close. They could be won by either candidate. I think it's a wide open race, but Trump has the advantage right now, and everybody should be sober about that on the Democrat side. Well, you can understand the irrational exuberance because, yes, I don't think the Democrats wanted Biden, but they didn't want Harris either. But right now, they've kind of been duped by just a new face in there, wanting to support their candidate wholeheartedly. They haven't seen how she really does when she gives interviews or when there is a debate. Of course, awkwardness, the word salads. But there's that exuberance and you know, irrational in Axelrod's words, but kind of expected. Not really shocking. Kamala's claim, she claims of border success. According to Rich Lowry, it's a sociopathic lie. No one is going to mistake Kamala Harris for General Patton or even George C. Scott, but her latest tack on immigration honors his call for audacity, audacity, always audacity. After helping preside over a comprehensive failure at the border, a lesser politician might mumble something or other and change the subject to aborting babies. A politician with an ounce of respect for the public might at least acknowledge, before saying anything else, that mistakes were made. A politician less certain that the media would swallow any set of absurdities deemed in her interest might hesitate before making such preposterous claims. The idea that Harris has been a tough-minded success on the border while Trump was a failure is a sociopathic in its dishonesty. It's tiresome and apparently beside the point to recite the basic facts, but after experiencing what was a migrant crisis by the old standard that now seems quaint, the Trump administration implemented a series of measures that all but brought illegal crossings to a halt. Then the Biden administration reversed them all, and illegal immigration quickly accelerated to record levels. That is a matter of record that isn't in dispute. Millions of illegal immigrants have entered the country and strained the resources of big cities across America. If the numbers have fallen recently, they're still at high levels, and the reduction is, in part, due to the new small rules that has redirected illegal immigrants into parole programs to create a patina of legitimacy around their crossings. Meanwhile, Interior Enforcement has been kneecapped while deportation by ICE is falling. It's not as though, by the way, that Harris was a former border hawk who got pressed into serving in an open borders administration. She set out positions to the left even of the Biden administration prior to becoming vice president. Yet Kamala Harris declared of Trump at her big Atlanta rally, quote, "I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week, including, for example, on the issue of immigration. Donald Trump has been talking a big game about securing our border, but he does not walk the walk." Harris is running an ad that claims she's working to fix the broken immigration system while Trump is trying to stop her. A lie so flagrant that it truly boggles the mind. But remember, the media is not going to report on this. This is the 4-month honeymoon period. The Harris case has not been met with a flurry of fact checks, nor have editors been zealously adding the word falsely in front of her claims. No, according to the press, she's flipping the script and going on offense and punching back. According to Chris Murphy on MSNBC, her record is something to brag about because levels of migration from Central American countries where she was promoting development declined somewhat, but they declined somewhat from very high levels. All this amounts to saying she wasn't the border czar, but boy, oh boy, did she do a great job at the border. Perhaps Harris isn't to be blamed for trying this, with the media having elevated her from also ran vice president to savior of the Republic in the space of about 12 hours a couple of weekends ago. Why not try to get them to swallow an even more outlandishly implausible notion? Nothing so far should lead her to believe anything other than her audacity will be rewarded. Of course it will be rewarded. Now, when we come back, we're going to hear from Amy from Casa Trinity. Then after that, we'll read some of your comments, some of your questions, because I see a lot of them are coming in. So keep them coming in. Keep the waves coming in. And as I said, our good friend Amy will be joining us in the next segment. And then we'll get right back into the nitty-gritty of the political scene. A couple things here about Trump and his campaign. A few things here about a few last things about Harris's campaign. Just a couple things about the current leader of the free world, Joe Biden. So that's coming up in just a few moments. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox will be right back. Amy from Casa Trinity coming up next.
When it comes to pizza, subs, wings, strombolis, and calzones, nobody does it better than Picnic Pizza. Picnic Pizza has been serving the Twin Tiers for over 40 years. With 2 convenient locations to serve you, Horseheads and Big Spots, you can dine in, carry out, or we'll deliver in a 5-mile radius. We offer everyday in-house specials like a family pack, 1 large pizza, 1 dozen wings, and 1 quart of soda. Having a party? How about a party pack? 1 sheet pizza, 2 dozen wings, and 2 quarts of soda. Picnic Pizza, the best darn pizza in the area.
Do you hate way food that's gone bad? Does your pantry look like a bad disaster? What if you could keep your food as fresh as the day you bought it and vacuum seal any ingredient? Eric B's here with my new portable, powerful PowerXL Duo NutriSealer. This incredible breakthrough in technology can savor any flavor while it seals in the freshness. What's the secret? The Duo NutriSealer will remove all the air. Once all the air is removed, the air pressure detection system is automatically activated and seals your bag tight. And it's the only patented handheld sealer that creates double seals. The Duo has a floating hinge and a built-in slicer to make bags of any size. You can even seal through liquid. Don't let its small compact size fool you. With just 1 touch of a button, the Duo seals any bag and it will stay bonded until you open it, guaranteed. The Duo NutriSealer locks in nutrients and freshness so you can keep your food 5 times longer. Prep and freeze delicious meals, or buy wholesale and seal individual packs and save up to 60%. Our bags are BPA free, microwave safe, and will never leach. Now you can get my PowerXL Duo NutriSealer for only 3 payments of $33.33. Plus, it comes with an ironclad 1-year VIP guarantee protection plan and my recipe book filled with marinades for super delicious meals. We're still not done. Order now and you'll receive an entire year's worth of bags. That's a $50 value, yours free. And we'll also include free shipping. All this is a $300 value, yours today for only 3 payments of $33.33. Remember, this is a special TV-only offer. So call or go to PowerXLDuo.com right now.
Call 1-877-869-2149 or go to PowerXLDuo.com.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Hakem. This is Frankly Speaking, and we're broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and this is the Stu Ben Senior Services Fund section of the program. And Amy's back. Amy, thanks so much for being on the show.
Hey, thanks.
I understand you guys at Casa Trinity have been celebrating 50 years all year long. It's been very busy.
It's been so busy. Busy in a good way. We just have a lot going on, and there's a lot to celebrate. So instead of doing one big event, we're just celebrating all year long.
All year long. And you really have been constantly busy, and I'm constantly hearing about new growth and new opportunities with Casa Trinity. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, there's a lot happening. We're expanding locations across the counties we serve. We're now in 5 counties. When we started back in 1974, we were just in the 1, and then it just kind of kept going from there based off the needs in the state. And it's just really exciting because our belief is to have a whole person care approach.
Right.
So we're not just treating somebody's disease, we're treating mental health. We're also looking at how they're eating. We're looking at, different things to be able to encompass kind of that mind, body, soul effect, and ensure they kind of get their pillars back to reintegrate into a life that they've wanted but never thought that maybe they could get to.
It almost seems, and that's not to knock anybody else, but it seems like you have a different approach at Casa Trinity, where it is about the person from beginning to end.
It is, and it's one of those things too that, you know, we don't offer all the levels of care in each of the counties we serve, but we can get people to those counties depending on the level of care that they need, and we can also do warm handoffs to other organizations. If we don't offer it, we know people that do.
Right.
It's a community, so we're able to help each other and support each other in that way for the good of the person we're trying to help.
Well, and you take care of people on so many levels, and I think an example of that, and this happened a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago, but that is Dutch's Pantry. Yeah. But this is maybe something that I wouldn't have expected, you know, but I understand you do so much, you maybe didn't expect this. So tell me what Dutch's Pantry is.
So Dutch's Pantry is a partnership with the Food Bank of the Southern Tier. Yeah. After doing a startup grant with them that we got, we're able to turn part of our Stoll Street location into Dutch's Pantry, which is named after our CEO, Ann Domingos. Her dad, Eugene, whose nickname was Dutch.
Oh, okay.
He was really involved in his community. He really believed that, you know, people needed access to food. He would use food as kind of building those relationships and connections with each other during times where, you know, he was a World War II vet. And so coming out of those things and kind of reestablishing and getting to the community and knowing your neighbors again or new neighbors, those kinds of things during those hard times, you know, food really comes down to basic necessity.
It does, yeah.
So it only seemed to make sense to have Dutch's Pantry as the name of it. But that's going to be available to active clients in our clinics. So within Chemung County, and it's kind of like a referral based idea. So if we see somebody that may qualify and or we see a need there, there's kind of a process of the paperwork and all the things.
Sure.
But essentially they'll be able to shop in the pantry and get food and things that they might need, and also, we encourage them, too, to shop at other pantries around because the food bank does so much.
It's amazing.
Oh, my God.
I visited them when they have the stack, the whatever. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's really remarkable.
And some locations do delivery, some do, there's different stuff at each, right? So it's going to be a really exciting thing to kind of integrate that part of it in because it's a necessity, and also it can be hard to come by. If somebody's getting help for something, you know, maybe that's kind of where their money's going right now as opposed to eating healthy. So how can we help in that way and get them some of that as well?
So food does seem to be a common trend because you also have during this celebration Grill and Chill coming up on August 9th.
We're all about the food here. The people, the connection, the food. So we have a location in Elmira at 456 Church Street. It's the old Mount Zion Church that we have now turned into the center. It houses our Air Adventures and Recovery Chemung crew for the adults in recovery and or family members of those in recovery. And then also houses the youth clubhouse. So we serve Chemung County youth ages 12 to 17. And the nice thing about this location is that it's 2 levels. So during, you know, times when the clubhouse might be closed, the air crew can kind of use the different floors. There's a gym, there's space for yoga. We have books that have been donated and different things. So it makes it really, really great that there's a safe space for people of any age and their families to come and just kind of hang. And typically there's activities or different stuff that they're doing on a day-to-day basis. But the Grill and Chill is going to be just an open house. Come check it out. It's from 11:30 to 5. We're going to have the grill going. We're going to have food happening. And it's just a way for people to see what the space is and hang out, network, and
all the services you provide and learn more about it.
Yeah, and it's open to residents, organizations, anybody that wants to come through.
Wow. So that's just 2 events I mentioned so far. And I know you have another one coming up on September 28th, which is a little ways away, but as you can tell by the summer, it goes very, very quickly.
It's so quick.
Can you imagine? It's unbelievable.
I
you
know.
start thinking, you start seeing the ads for back to school. Forget it.
I know.
You've seen it all. But you have the Color Run.
We do.
What is that exactly?
That is our annual Color Run, walk for recovery. It's a 5K. This year, we actually, our presenting sponsor of the event is Fidelis Care, which is super exciting. Yeah. And they're really great partners to work with and huge supporters of ours in our care. And a lot of our care is made possible because of those with Fidelis. So we'll have registration opening at 9. Registration's open now online.
Okay.
And you can see everything about that too on our website. And then also, and on our socials, we also have a Facebook page just dedicated to it. It also has other things that are kind of popping up, like raffle items we've been getting as we've been acquiring those from. We got stuff from the Buffalo Bills. We got a signed cleat. We have
that's cool.
some baseball tickets, things like that. But it's a really, really great event, and it's it's where people can come together from all walks of life, and just there's just like a different energy that happens at those events, and you can just tell everybody that's there is just there in support and in love of the mission. So it's very cool.
And I know this is probably important to mention because it's a walk and run. Some people wonder about their level of exercise capabilities or whatever you call it, but it's for everybody.
It's for everyone. Families too. Last year we had so many kiddos come with their parents. That's nice. It's all, the route is on the street and or the sidewalk through Dansville. Okay. So it's a really easy terrain. This isn't gonna be like an air hike where we take you up a huge hill and tell you you're halfway there and you're not.
Right.
Those kinds of things. So it's really, really, it's not so much something you have to run.
Right. I think that's important to stress sometimes. Not everybody know. So, and you said that you can find out more at the website or at the Facebook?
Yeah, so everything on Facebook as far as that stuff goes, but the website definitely has the most information. And when you log on there, you'll see the color runs kind of on the home page, but there's also, under the About section is an events page. Okay. That literally has everything that's coming up and press releases of things past and really the hub of information.
So I was going to ask what's next, but it seems like every time we talk, we're not sure. Anything could pop up at any moment.
Well, there's going to be some openings of things that are coming down the pipeline that we're just waiting for the final thumbs up from the DEA on, and then those programs will be opening. So I'm sure I'll be back in a few weeks to tell you about that.
10 more projects going on. The 50th celebration, 50th anniversary, you're probably going to relax come January 1st.
I know. It's going to be like, what am I supposed to do with my life now?
But where should people find out more? Just go to the website because there's so much that, and I know we've been having fun with this interview, and there's so much we can talk about with Casa Trinity. It's an amazing organization. So if someone's thinking about it, that they may need this type of help, this services, just go to CasaTrinity.org.
Yeah, just go to the website because it tells you all of our locations, what we offer, where we offer it, how to get in contact with that location. Okay. And I think the biggest thing to know is that you're not going to be judged for walking through our doors.
Right. Right.
We're here to help, just like a medical provider, anybody. If it's a concern to you and you feel like it's impacting your day-to-day, let's talk.
Yeah. And you'll have to say hi to Ann for us before we go. She was on just the other week. So, well, thanks for joining us. Best of luck with all your events. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. See you.
All right. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.
It's time for the 205th Steuben County Fair. Celebrate an action-packed week of fun. Catch the Broken Bee Rodeo on Wednesday, Demolition Derby Night on Thursday, Monster and Tough Truck Show on Friday, and Truck and Tractor Pull on Saturday. Come enjoy the carnival, the Midway, tons of free shows, and Demolition Derby finals on Sunday. It's fun for the whole family. For more information, visit us online or like us on Facebook. The 205th Steuben County Fair, August 12th to the 18th in downtown Bath. See you there.
Wow, you found it.
I did.
The History of Water Part 6? I've been dying to read this.
I know, honey.
I always wanted that book.
At Culligan, we get that most people don't think about water like we do, and that's okay. You see, when we install one of our high-efficiency water softeners, we're thinking about hard water and limescale buildup, so you can just think about longer-lasting appliances and softer skin and hair. At Culligan, we think about your water, so you don't have to.
Call today to schedule your free water test.
What's up, guys? What I'm about to show you is going to change the way you shave your head forever.
You can shave your head in 90 seconds or less.
With no cuts or nicks. It's 100% waterproof.
It even works in the shower.
Introducing Remington's Balder Boss. With increased flex and 5 dual-track floating head design, get over 60% more head coverage for a faster, closer shave and skin-close results.
No nicks, no scrapes. Fit in the palm of my hand, and the results were amazing.
Shave in the shower or with any foam or gel. with Japanese-grade steel blades plow through the thickest of hair. Anytime, anywhere. There's even a pop-up trimmer to complete your perfect groom. Now, you can try the Remington Balder Boss in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. Complete with a 5-year limited warranty and 100% satisfaction guarantee. You can also get our ear, nose, and brow trimmer free. Just pay separate processing and handling.
Give it a try. You won't be disappointed.
Order your Balder Boss now.
The Big Fox website is here now. WYDCTV.com. Local and national news that keeps you informed and involved. WYDCTV.com. Today's weather, up to date and in your town. WYDCTV.com. Sports news, local events, and health stories that affect you. WYDCTV.com. The Big Fox website. Your news here now. WYDCTV.com.
So many great comments coming in. We're going to get those today in just a second. Thank you to Let's go to some viewer comments. First off, why shouldn't Trump turn the table and make his own list of demands for debate? That's a good point. I know one of those list of demands is to have a Fox News debate on September 4th. Another comment from a different viewer. I can't help but think, or maybe it's wishful thinking, Harris is going to be faced with a major world problem and fail on her handling of it. If it happens within 2 weeks of the election, she's not going to have a good turnout. Thank you. A different comment from a different viewer. First time in history, the American people did not vote for the person on the Democratic line. We are living the first step in losing our democracy. Thank you very much. I find it very troubling. The media ignoring it completely, not even acting as if it's strange to have the party elites get to pick who the candidate is and not the Democratic voters. Another comment. Why would Harris do a press conference? She is a clone of Biden in new packaging. I agree. I don't think she's going to run out the clock. It's going to be very much like Biden's campaign back in 2020. They're going the same way with it, because why would she give a press conference? Why would she agree to a different debate? As Miranda Devine pointed out, that there was the word salad, the incomprehensible word salad, just the other day when she was on the tarmac saying, quote, "This is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy." The soundbite went viral, as they say, topping up the vast treasure trove of idiotic public pronouncements she has amassed over the past 4 years. No wonder her handlers won't let her out without a teleprompter. Biden, at least, had the excuse of age-related cognitive impairment for his verbal, I don't know if you want to call them gaffes, but what is hers? We know that she is a phony. This is Miranda Devine. What are your thoughts? So my guess is the latter. She's not called Shamala Flip-Flop for nothing. She would rather be thought a fool than allow her true thoughts to leak out. And she has wound herself so tight throughout her vice presidency that all we have on the public records are these flaky non-statements with a lot of hand-waving. She wraps things up by saying, where was it? There was one line that I really liked that I had here, but just as Harris, the fake tough cop, was weak on crime, she is weak on national security. Because the same mentality prevails in which wrongdoers are treated like victims and victims are treated as nuisances. I thought that was a very good point. Fear of Trump being president, according to the Wall Street Journal, prompted Russia to speed up the prisoner swap. The German negotiation team was led by the deputy chief of the Foreign Secret Service, BND, Philip Wolf, a former prosecutor who joined the intelligence agency in 2007. Wolf's team saw an opening when their Russian counterparts said they wanted to wrap up the deal before the U.S. election in November. Some officials deduced that Russians were either concerned about an unpredictable Donald Trump coming again to the presidency, or they feared that the German chancellor would no longer be willing to help a president who rarely misses an opportunity to criticize Germany. All right, there you go. Vance was on Fox News Channel's Sunday morning features, J.D. Vance. And what's your thoughts? I know we've had a little time to settle in with J.D. Vance being second on the ticket. Your thoughts on that? Happy? Sad? I don't know. Who do you think Harris is going to pick on Tuesday, too? We posed that question. Senator J.D. Vance was asked, what do you say about this new strategy of calling you weird That's what the Democrats have been doing, calling him and Trump weird. He said, I think that's a lot of projection, frankly, Maria, from people who want to give transgender hormones to 9-year-old kids and want biological males to play in women's sports. Look, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm happily married, and I love my life. I'm doing this because I want to be a good public servant who fixes the problems of the Democrats. They can tell me whatever they want to. They can call me whatever they want to. The middle school taunts don't bother me. What bothers me is what offends me is that Kamala Harris has done nothing to this country over 3.5 years. She's opened up the American southern border. She cast a deciding vote on things that cause skyrocketing inflation and affordability crisis. I mean, I was in Georgia yesterday. They have a terrible housing affordability problem in the state of Georgia because Kamala Harris shot interest rates through the roof. And then she welcomed in millions of illegal aliens to compete with Americans for scarce homes. So I don't care what they call me. I just wish they would stop screwing up the country. And because I don't think they're able to do that themselves, President Trump and I are going to beat them in November. So that's J.D. Vance. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham issued a warning over the weekend to President Trump, saying, so here's what I would say to President Trump. The problem I have with Kamala Harris is not her heritage, it's her judgment. She has been wrong about everything. When she tries to explain what she would do about inflation in an upcoming recession, it made no sense. It's gibberish. They asked Graham about Trump's comments at that convention. He said this. The senator said 30% of his state is African American, adding that former Governor Nikki Haley is of Indian heritage, and one of her children married an African American football player who attended Clemson University. Every day, we're talking about her heritage and not her terrible, dangerous liberal record throughout her entire career. It's a good day for her and a bad day for us. So I would encourage President Trump to prosecute the case against Kamala Harris's bad judgment. It's important to win to reset a broken border and get the world in good order. The American people are looking to have their problems solved. I think your presidency was an incredible presidency for national security and prosperity, that idea of peace and prosperity. Team Biden is shocked at the massive migrant fraud, but still wants to wave them in, is a piece from the New York Post editorial board. If Team Biden thinks these people really deserve to be here, let them persuade lawmakers to create a legal pathway. The refusal to do so is just one more reason they need, meaning Biden and Harris, need to be replaced. Now, we've been talking about this all morning, and now we're finally getting to the substance of it. Nancy Pelosi, who over the weekend kind of, I don't know, how would you say, kind of smiled when asked if she helped push Biden out of the re-election campaign. No. Now she's saying that Biden deserves to be on Mount Rushmore. The 81-year-old commander-in-chief is, quote, such a consequential president of the United States, a Mount Rushmore kind of president. You have Teddy Roosevelt up there, and he's wonderful. I don't say take him down, but you can add Biden, she insisted, when pressed about whether the incumbent president is really worthy of the honor of getting his massive mug engraved in rock at the iconic South Dakota National Monument alongside President George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Roosevelt. Pelosi extolling of Biden came as she defended her work behind the scenes of that mutiny, that coup against President Biden, who she claimed, quote, was in a good place to make whatever decision, the top of his game at the time. Biden was forced to abandon his re-election bid last month after months of debate over his mental and physical well-being. And it was the Nancy Pelosi's, it was the Obamas of the world that pushed him out. Former President Trump has previously suggested he deserves to be on Mount Rushmore, quipping, sounds like a good idea to me when asked about the possibility. But he denied a report that his administration once reached out to Kristi Noem to try to make it happen. Now, Trump has also likened himself to Lincoln and other iconic presidents as well. Pelosi's acclaim of Biden comes even as rumors have swirled that she pulled the strings from behind the scenes to help orchestrate his downfall and withdrawal. And whatever you think about Biden, you have to feel for a guy who's been so loyal to a party and how they just stabbed him in the back. Every single person that could. Pelosi, who has a reputation for being a slick political operative, initially backed up Biden after his debate performance, and then began to publicly declare he needed to make a decision about re-election, even after he initially made one saying he was going to stay in. We know the whole history there. We've talked about it. But she believes, Nancy Pelosi believes, that Biden is that consequential that he should be on Mount Rushmore. We got to take a short break. Stay with us. Some more comments coming in. A couple last-minute things to talk about on the program this morning. So you won't want to go anywhere. What's this with JFK or RFK Jr.? That's a weird one. We'll talk about that as well. As it is being reported, Iran could attack Israel as early as today. We hope that's not the case, or as Biden would say, don't. But he is in the Situation Room early today to be prepared. We are going to read your comments when we come back. Stay with us. I don't want to run too late. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, thanks again to Amy from Casa Trinity for being on the program.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselsen's Hot Tub. Hesselsen's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselsen's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselsen's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselsen's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselsen's.
The world's pizza has been baked in ovens made of stone, but you can't put one of those on the countertop in your home. Introducing Paisano, the authentic pizza oven by Granite Stone. Now make the world's most delicious pizza with real stone right in your own home. You simply set it and let it make golden, crispy, extra cheesy stone-baked pies in under 6 minutes. The secret is the dual-controlled heat zones that quickly heat the real ceramic stone up to 800 degrees so you can stone bake just like the pros. Plus, there's no gas, wood, or charcoal needed. Paisano is electric, plug-in, and portable. You can get your Paisano pizza oven for just 4 easy payments of $39.99. And we're going to drop one payment. You get it all for just 3 easy payments of $39.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free.
Call 1-800-597-7208 or order online at buypaisano.com. Call now.
And we are back. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Here's a comment from Cannon, a very, very good point. Do you think Maduro does any press conferences? The voters didn't pick him either. Yeah, I think we can safely say that Kamala Harris will not be very active when it comes to press conferences or debates. It's basically going to be all teleprompter because why not? She just has to run out the clock for just a few months, and the honeymoon period by the media will last that entire time. Now, I don't know if you saw this announcement, but Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch admonished President Biden over his recent push to remake the high court. We talked about this quote-unquote reform, this attack on the Supreme Court. Remember, at the same time they're talking about Trump destroys the norms, destroys the institutions, and yet you see the Supreme Court quote-unquote reform. You see a candidate who is running for president of the United States having never received a single vote from her own party to have that position. But I'll continue. I just say be careful, Gorsuch warned in an interview that aired on Fox News Sunday. Now, we've talked about this reform package that entail 18-year term limits for justices on the big bench, on the high bench, a binding code of ethics for justices, and a constitutional amendment to effectively reverse its ruling that a president enjoys absolute immunity for official acts. Up until that point, Biden had largely resisted pleas from his progressive base to push for deep reforms to the high court. Gorsuch said, "You're not going to be surprised, and I'm not going to get into what is now a political issue during a presidential election year. I don't think it would be helpful. The independent judiciary, what does it mean to you as an American? It means that when you're unpopular, you can get a fair hearing. If you're in the majority, you don't need judges and juries to hear you, to protect your rights if you're popular. If there are for moments when the spotlight's on you, when the government's coming after you, and don't you want a fiercely independent judge and a jury of your peers to make those decisions?" All right, so that's just a quick update from Neil Gorsuch on this reform. Oh, we got comments and waves coming in at the last minute. So what is the deal with the RFK Jr. controversy? Have you heard this story? There's kind of a mixed reaction. Some believe that RFK Jr. is taking votes away from Trump. Others believe he was taking votes away from Biden. I don't know where it stands in regards to Harris now being the nominee who never received a single vote from her party for that position. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy appeared to fess up to being one of the culprits who dumped a dead bear cub in Central Park a decade ago. He did so after he abandoned his plan to skin it. Seemingly trying to preempt a forthcoming story from the New Yorker magazine, Kennedy, 70, bizarrely recounted in a video posted to social media how some of his buddies were drinking and thought it would be a good idea to dump the dead bear off into the park and make it look like he got hit by a bike. He insisted that he wasn't drinking when he opted to put an old bike in his car, and someone asked him to throw away next to the deceased animal. There had been a spate of local biking accidents that were making headlines at the time. He has had such weird stories around him. Everybody thought that's a great idea, so we went and did that and thought it would be amusing for whoever found it. A media frenzy quickly ensued in 2014 after a woman discovered the dead bear under some bushes concealed in part by a bike. The bear was described in reports at the time as a cub, though Kennedy simply called it a young bear. I turned on the TV and there was like a mile of yellow tape and there were 20 cops. There were like helicopters flying over. And I was like, oh my goodness, what did I do? I was worried because my fingerprints were all over that bike. Luckily, the story died after a little while, much like the bear. Locals were puzzled by the sudden appearance of a dead bear at the time, and many people were horrified. Kennedy claimed in the video that he stumbled upon the dead bear while trekking through New York State. During his ride up there in the wee hours of the morning, Kennedy claims that a woman in front of her hit a bear with her vehicle and killed it. So I pulled over and I picked up the bear and put it in the back of my van because I was going to skin the bear. It was in very good condition. I was going to put the meat in my refrigerator. The environmental lawyer explained that he planned to obtain a bear tag for a roadkill bear and put the meat in his refrigerator later. But the trip he was on ran late. He then had to dash over to New York City instead of heading back to his home in Westchester County due to a dinner that he needed to attend. At that point, he realized he needed to go to the airport, but had the dead bear in his car. All this prompted his decision to dump the dead bear in Central Park. This was a little bit of the redneck in me, he said. Now, Kennedy is averaging 5.5% presidential polls compared to Trump's 44.6 and Harris's 44.8, according to Real Clear Politics aggregate of a five-way national race. For context, the RCP aggregate had him at 8.7%, President Biden at 39.2%, and Trump at 43.4%. All right, we've got to get another short break. Then we are going to wrap things up on the Monday morning edition of Frankly Speaking. So get your last minute comments, and boy, this show goes fast. To that one viewer's comments earlier on after your Friday's program saying it's the fastest 2 hours on TV. I could not agree more. And that viewer and others have sent out that they've been having issues registering to vote. One in Chemung County, the other was not noted which county they were in. Have you had trouble registering to vote? I would love to hear from you. Do you plan on early voting? I know there's some pushback there, but Republicans are asking fellow Republicans to do the early voting. I am going to give it a shot this time because the idea being, remember, there's that snowstorm in that one runoff race, or maybe you get sick and you can't vote. So will you be planning on voting early? I would love to hear from you. But let's take that break and wrap up today's edition of Frankly Speaking. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Aubrey.
For over 40 years, the Blaze Alexander family dealerships have been making car buying easy, affordable, with respect for your time.
And we do that by treating all of our customers like family.
By making sure you get the lowest rates, biggest discounts, and most for your trade.
By providing clean, comfortable, and convenient service.
By offering the largest selection of new and pre-owned vehicles every day. Visit a Blaze Alexander family dealership,
where we're taking the deals
the other guys won't.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast and so convenient. It's like the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Look, you can inflate all 4 tires on a single charge. It has a built-in smart pressure digital sensor that gauges and automatically stops when the the set tire pressure is reached. Easily inflate pool toys, exercise balls, and more. Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system for the factory direct price of just $79.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free, and we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. Order now.
Order call 1-800-970-9843. That's 1-800-970-9843, or go to getbullseyepro.com.
And we are back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox. A couple comments from viewers. I feel so much better hearing that strong message. Don't. We are in a very vulnerable position, and I, for one, have feared an attack is imminent here with the open porous borders. Yes, meanwhile, Israel, our ally, is getting shortchanged. I think it is terrifying with the open porous border, not knowing the amount of terrorists that have crossed that border, though knowing that it has been admitted that there have been. So I would tend to agree with you. The don't is kind of pathetic, but don't. Here's another comment from a different viewer. Hopefully, those who have seen her commercials, meaning Harris, will see that she is exactly the opposite of what she says based on the past 3.5 years of economic, national security, and cultural decline. She is full of hot air. Thank you very much for those comments. Thank you to everybody commenting today. We are wrapping things up. There's a really interesting piece by Christina Cutler talking about the Secret Service failures at the Trump rally in Butler. Current and former USSS employees have voiced concerns about the agency being plagued by understaffing, even as its budget has increased to $3 billion. USSS leaders are being grilled not only on the failures in Butler, but also on their handling of their team's morale and their ability to recruit and retain talent. Yeah, saying who wants to be a part of a failed team like that? The USSCS team is a stain it will never be able to cleanse. We failed not because of commitment or sense of dedication, but because our supervisors knew better and thought our concerns were less than important. The public has lost trust in the ability to execute the mission to protect, and I want to know how you feel about the fact that employees in your agency are worried about covering their behind and not worried about protecting a former president. Blackburn asked at that hearing. Rode Jr. said it was hurt by his employees' words. I'm hurt because my people are hurting right now. We need them. You can find that full piece at Fox. Here's a comment, last comment from a viewer. As far as early voting goes, I'm not a fan. I think that gives them a better snapshot on how the race is going and how much they have to cheat. I think the big issue is, and why Republicans are pushing for the early voting so much, is because of, this will most likely happen in November, but snowstorms, or you have an issue and you can't make it out that day because maybe you got sick. Democrats are very good at using the early voting and getting out early to vote. I am going to attempt, anyway, to try to do early voting this year. And we are going to have a special, as I mentioned, and I'll give you more information as it unfolds about how you can vote, what you need to know before voting on Election Day. Well, thank you to everybody who commented, all the waves. Thank you to Amy for being a part of the program from Casa Trinity. I always appreciate Casa Trinity taking the time out to be on the show, so thank you very much to Amy. We'll be talking to her again soon. If I don't remember if I announced this, I think I did last week. Fan favorite, former Congressman Joe Sempolinski will be joining us this Friday. You do not want to miss that. If you're new to the program, you know that everybody loves when Joe Sempolinski is on the program. So if you have any questions for him, you can get those to me early or during the broadcast. We normally spend about the full hour with him in the 7 o'clock hour. That's why you have to tune in every weekday morning at 6. Just like on Friday when Mike Sapper-Cohn, the man running against Kristen Gillibrand for United States Senate, he joined us for the full hour. Just tune in. You never know what you'll get with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox. Have a great day, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow morning bright and early. I look forward to it already. Have a great day, everyone.